Hello everyone, hope you all are doing fine. In this video, I will share my DRDO interview experience. My interview date was on 21st October 2024. Venue was RAC Delhi. The result was announced on 29th October itself, and I am glad to announce that I have been selected as Scientist B at DRDO. The panel consists of 6 members. The interview took place for 35 minutes. In the interview hall, they gave me an electronic pen and a screen to write on. When we write on that screen, it will get reflected in the larger screen behind us. So the interview panel was already having all of my documents, including my BTech mark sheet. So they were going through all the subjects I had done during my BTech. First, the chairman started asking questions. First, he asked me to introduce myself. Then he asked me, why do you want to join DRDO? What is your motivation? Then he asked me to write down favorite subjects. So I have mentioned physical metallurgy, extractive metallurgy, corrosion and metallurgical thermodynamics as my favorite subjects. So one of the panel member picked up thermodynamics and he started asking from thermodynamics. What is first law of thermodynamics? Write the equation and explain each term. What is delta Q, what is du and what is delta W. Then he asked me what is enthalpy and how it differs from Q. What is activity coefficient? Then he asked me to write an equation. A plus B gives rise to C plus D. Then he asked me to write the equation of free energy in relation with equilibrium constant. Then he asked me to write the free energy expression with activity of each element. Then he asked me to consider any one of the product as gas, and then he asked me to modify the free energy versus reaction coefficient and equilibrium constant equation. So if one product is gas, how does the process depends on pressure? What will happen if I increase or decrease the pressure of the system? How does the reaction proceed, whether it will go in the forward direction or in the backward direction? Then he asked me what is the significance of activity of an element during steel making. So what is the activity of all the impurities like sulfur, silicon, phosphorus, whether should be high or low during steel making. Then the third member started physical metallurgy. He asked me to draw the phase diagram of H2O. After drawing the curve, he asked me, why does this curve end at these points? Does the curve actually end at these points, or can I extend these lines? And what does these points signify? And what happens at the critical point of this phase diagram? Which one is the critical point and what happens at the critical point? Then he asked me to draw free energy versus temperature for the water phase diagram. Then he asked me how many tetrahedral and octahedral voids are there in BCC and FCC. Draw and show the positions of these voids in both FCC and BCC crystal systems. Then the fourth member, he was going through my subjects that I had gone through during my BTech. So he picked up non-metallic materials. So he asked me, what are non-metallic materials? And can you name some non-metallic materials that are present in this room? What are different types of bonds present in materials? Which bond is strongest, ionic or covalent? And which bond is directional? Which bond does polymers have? Then he asked me if covalent bond is very strong, then why does these polymers have very less strength? Then he asked me, have you heard of composite materials? Define a composite material. What are different types of composite materials? What is the role of dispersed phase and what is the role of the matrix? Then he asked me what are the components in concrete. So concrete usually consists of cement, sand, gravel and water. Then he asked me what is the role of each component. Then he asked me, can you give some other examples of composite materials? Then next panel member chose semiconductors. He started with what are semiconductors. Then he asked me, does valency band and conduction band exist in reality? Like, can we see them? At what level do these exist? Then he asked me, what is the effect of temperature on conductivity of a metal and a semiconductor? How does the conductivity of a semiconductor changes and how does the conductivity of a metal changes with increasing temperature? Then he asked me, why does the conductivity of a conductor reduces on increasing temperature? And he asked me, why does the conductivity of a semiconductor increases with increasing temperature? Then he asked me if I increase the temperature of semiconductor from 0 Kelvin to 2 Kelvin, will there be any improvement in conductivity of a semiconductor? Then he asked me, how can you improve the conductivity of ceramic materials? Final member started asking, what are whiskers? Are defects good or bad in a metal? Here defects are good because presence of dislocations made the deformation of all the metals made possible. But if we take a property conductivity, there if we have any defects, conductivity drops. So defects are having both aspects. If defects, sometimes having defects is good, sometimes having defects is not good. Then he asked me, do you know what is aspect ratio? Be specific. It is the ratio of what dimension to what dimension. Then he asked me, I give you an aluminum alloy, how can you strengthen it? All the methods that you can, here I mentioned grain refinement, cold working, and if it is an is-hardenable alloy, we can go for is-hardening. Then he asked me to draw 1, 1, 1 and 2, 2, 2 planes. First draw a crystal structure and show these in 3 dimensions. Another question is, what is the translational vector for representing FCC crystal system using lattice parameter? So friends, these are all the questions that I could remember from my recent interview. Even though I have written the questions, there were a lot of cross questions and there were a lot of discussions during the interview. They were very supportive during the interview. At several questions I got stuck. Especially that question where if the conductivity, if I increase from 0 degrees to 2 Kelvin, whether there is increasing in conductivity of a semiconductor or not. Like these questions, at several questions I got stuck, but they were patient, they were extremely friendly. If they seem like you are getting nervous or you are getting stuck, they will switch the topic and they will start asking fresh questions. First they will ask simple questions and then slowly they increase the difficulty level. And I would request everyone to prepare all the subjects. They can ask anything. Even though they have asked me favorite subjects, you can see they have selected some subjects which I had done during my BTech, which are non-metallic materials, semiconductors. There are several topics which we do not study properly, but they can choose because DRDO works on these techniques which use non-metallic materials, semiconductors and all. They do not expect us to have knowledge on everything, but they do expect us, if we know something, we know it properly. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do want to make more and more videos that will help you all, but I do not know whether my videos are helpful to you or not. So please do let me know in the comment section what kind of videos do you want me to make and whether my videos are helpful to you or not. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will have a great day.